And we're live.
Hello! My gosh, welcome to the Hexagon TTRPG. I'm Brent, and I'm very happy to have whoever's here today, including my players, for another epic actual play session of Progenitors Bloodlines. So today we're playing with my lovely friend Simon. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm playing Wilm once more. And a little known fact about Wilm, he actually came to the research institute to make money, send back to his parents. You know those ads you hear on the radio, just being like, "Oh, come and join this research study and gain $1,000 at the end of a week." He got hooked by one of those, and he came in and to get that money.
That's so unfortunate.
Yep. Never saw that money.
Well, on the same vein, it's funny, we must share a brain cell because I'm CJ and I'll be playing Otto. And my fun fact is that after months of rigorous and often violent testing and a number of instances of memory absorption, Otto has sadly lost access to the memories of how he came here. And he hopes one day to regain those memories. It's a little fuzzy. He has some pieces of it for sure, but the full story, it's just not there.
That's one of those things where you just gave me an ace up my sleeve.
I know.
No more memory shenanigans. No, Tomas doesn't have a very good memory, unfortunately. I'm Peter. I'm playing Tomas, the big brute. And Tomas, I think unknowing to the others, he's got a particular taste for meat and flesh, all the beasties that he's always tested on against to train his prowess of physical strength. He always likes to get a little nibble of their flesh afterwards, almost like a little reward. And I think his primitive-esque brain sees his two companions, and he's always thinking, I wonder what their meat tastes like.
Well, that's a bomb of a fact. If there's any sort of telepath, I will make sure that they read your mind first. My goodness. Well, these three characters, we're missing one person today, Diana, who usually plays Quinn T314, a spacefaring Dimensionaut from what used to be Seraph Station, which brings us to the present day in the campaign. But make sure you say hi if you're there in chat, and if you're new, hit the follow button. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, all at TheHexagonTTRPG. So let's dive in, everybody. What used to be Seraph Station is falling down around you. The sky is red. The city of I don't think I had named the city before, and you guys don't know the name, so I won't come up with one. But this city, whatever it's called, is on fire. It's in the southern United States, or what used to be that, even as the kind of like continent. I think even at this very moment, as all of you were standing there talking, the ground starts to rumble, and there's like a huge earthquake. And I think you've all collected together now. Wilm has a bundle of, did you say it was, it was like their kind of like weapon, like their whip kind of chain weapon.
Well, you said that it was like on like bandolier, like they had like all their equipment kind of like strapped to them. So I was just kind of grabbing that.
Yeah, so you grabbed the equipment. Oh, I didn't send you guys the ciphers. Sorry, I thought I had another week. We'll come up with that real quick.
All good.
But you had one of his weapons was like I think it was like a big whip rope. It was kind of like man, who else has one of these? It's like an energy whip, basically. So you kind of took that, and now it's depowered, so it's just basically a bunch of flexible metal, and you wrapped this alien up in what appears to be some sort of a metal yarn ball, which is like one of their little tentacles sticking out, which had like their D-pad on it, the kind of like techno bracelet.
Did Quinn not take that bracelet?
Quinn hasn't taken it yet because Quinn was wide-eyed staring at the scene that had played out before you, which was a giant angelic statue looking thing had reached up and then like split the station into pieces so that like most of it missed the city basically. And this thing was like so tall, like you would call it like a mountain basically, like you're having to look like straight up because it's so close. It's in the city, and then it shrank, like melted away and shrank back down. So Quinn had like tears in her eyes as she's watching all of this happen, and all of you are just kind of standing here now with the decision of what to do. So we have Tomas, who walks up, is still a little bit wet, smells like chlorine from the pool. The drill hound kind of running behind you. There's Mergurgler. I'll bring up a picture of Mergurgler. Also hanging out. Mergurgler is here with you guys, kind of looking from person to person. I think with you feel like let's go energy from Mergurgler. And you see like a seagull comes and lands on their shoulder, and they start like talking together. And then there was another person who was with you who has disappeared, which was Zero. In the chaos of the fight and what was going on, something had started happening between Mergurgler and Zero, and then Zero ended up, I think, kind of getting scared away in a sense, or just kind of like, taking flight. So what are you guys doing now? The alien is starting to come to. You hear like grumbling, like moaning as it wakes up. Is the alien.
Gross. Two gross dudes on screen right now. Tomas is, I think, just takes a few steps towards Quinn, sees her crying, and I think her emotional state influences him. The little face on his forehead suddenly changes blue, and he goes, and starts crying like a little baby. And then tears just start streaming down Tomas's face in response. And so he's just silently standing there with her.
Yeah, I think she uses you for support and gets up. And you see she like quickly just like wipes her, like I think her helmet comes off, and she's like wiping her eyes really quickly and just goes, okay, I have to get over to where that statue thing was. And you see she's like fighting for words, and like Hermes is like talking to her. I can't tell you guys everything, but I think if we get over there, we'll get the information we need, and we'll have an idea of maybe what to do next. And she like looks around, and you don't see the battle that was happening with Mario and Persephone and Silverback anywhere. So they've moved off around, and like I would say that a lot of the city is catching fire now. So it's becoming more hazardous. Like this debris that's rained down is like super hot in some cases. Like it'll hit something like a gas station and explode. There's like solar punk style power conduits and stuff like snapping and being electrified. So the city is quickly becoming uninhabitable.
The direction she wants to go in, is that the same direction that Mario and Silverback and Persephone went? Or
How about you roll me a d20 on an 18 or higher? It's the same direction.
oh! 8.
It's not the same direction as far as you can tell, and I would say that you saw them move deeper into the city, but I don't think like even when you were on top of that skyscraper earlier, you didn't really look around. Like you didn't take a moment to take in the view and situate yourself. I think that you were honing in on the enemy. So
Yeah, there was a fight going on, so that was like what was important for the moment.
Yeah, I think Otto, you did do some scouting, and I think you saw the direction that they went, and it is not the direction where the statue was. So you would have to make a choice.
Quinn, T314, will the statue offer us safety?
She shrugs. This maybe they'll be able to help us get away from here, and it might be more safe.
Very well.
McGurgler's here, and he just goes, I think it might be safe more in the water. I think we should just go to like the ocean.
I don't think all of us would do too well in the water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody who would do well in the water, raise your hand.
Does swimming count?
Sure.
I can swim.
Anybody breathe underwater?
No.
Okay, well, I'll come with you guys just in case we find that Mario guy, because I got a bone to pick with him. But if we could, or if you could just drop me off after at some water, or maybe then you help me get to water, that would be great.
We can do that.
I don't know much of the city or where we are, do we know the city? Like, I feel like we haven't, I guess, mentioned the fact if we were from the city originally or came to the city to do the experiment specifically, like how long we might have been there before the experiments. That's never been mentioned.
So Otto doesn't remember, and Will, I think you said you wanted to have some memories of before.
Yeah, like I have some memories for sure, but it's just those haven't really been, I guess, crafted.
Yeah. Do you know how long? I mean, I don't know that. Would you know how long you were in the experiments?
Depends on how long he was able to get newspapers for. Because that would give him some sort of semblance of time, right?
Yes. So you were there. I mean, you remember getting newspapers for a couple of years. I think it was. Is that what we said? You were there for a couple of years, or is it months?
At the very least, yeah.
Okay. So sorry for anyone at home. We're retconning. It's a couple of years now. So you're there for a couple of years. You remember getting these newspapers. As you try to think back to what it was before, why don't you make me an intellect roll? This is going to be a challenging intellect roll. So your target number is 15.
Okay. I'm going to concentrate on this task to attempt to give myself or use my asset or my skill of trained in tasks requiring concentration.
So I think as you like sit down to start concentrating on this, Murgurgler is just gonna be like, or actually it would be Quinn.
Well,
Quinn's like,
hey, I would try not to like sit
right
down. Now. Like if anything, I would just go quiet and like walk along with them, but like just be like thinking as I walk, kind of like mindlessly.
Okay. But Quinn will interrupt you in this moment and be like, we need to just start going that way, like right now.
That's why I was saying, like, I wouldn't sit. I would like go wherever they would be going, but like just be like kind of in my own bubble and just walking.
Okay. But Quinn's like, no, like we're booking it. This is me as the DM saying, I don't think you are going to be able to concentrate in this moment. Like, there's not enough time to really, be in your head, thinking back or on what's going on.
Cool. I'll just roll then. 19.
Well, the natural 19. I think that you remember a city that looked obviously much different from the burning pile of rubble around you. But you remember a city even, and as you think back, you compare it to before the debris even started raining down today. and it was different. You remember, I think, motor vehicles, IC engines, like all of these little things start popping up, and it looks like a lot has changed. And I think like there's something like nagging at you with that in terms of like how quickly did this city change, but the basic layout is somewhat the same. And I think as you look around, like you get a couple of landmarks, basically some big buildings that even though the outside has changed a little bit, it's still a big building that was always there. And you find that you guys are more or less in the like southwest of this place. The ocean would be like due south, like a long ways. There's basically a desert. And north of you is where you would get to that place where you saw the giant kind of being that Quinn is trying to make her way to. And west is where the fight with Mario went.
Okay. And north, there is no body of water or anything there.
You don't remember there being like any sort
Okay.
of lake or river or anything in the middle of town. Like this really is like a kind of like a landlocked area. If you went a little further out, maybe there would be something. I think like, you know, your knowledge like starts to fall apart a little bit. But definitely you're like, oh, like I remember like northeast, if we went a little while, you know, I went on a trip and there was some water there, I think. Like it's that kind of like fuzzy knowledge.
Yeah, okay. So like, okay. Well, this way there's, I don't remember there being any water, but we can bring you afterwards if need be.
The burglar's like, okay. Bird said it's the other way. He's like going north with you guys. He's like, but I'll trust you guys on this.
No water this way.
He didn't say how far. He's a bird. I mean, come on. I'm much smarter than a bird. Obviously, right?
I'm sure you are.
I wasn't
Is
sure
that
you guys
true?
were smart when we first met. Sorry about that.
It's a valid thing to think.
Well, because right before I met you, there was this other thing that tried to kill me right away. So it's like a worm. Or a, what do you call it? A snake.
Did you kill it?
I gave it a good whacking, and then it left me alone.
Probably for the best.
You could say that.
But now I guess are we moving at this point, or
Yeah, so as you guys start moving, you're going along.
what do we do with this?
Yeah, as you say that, it's like it's a piece of stone. Ah! I'm awake. Ah! Who the hell are you people?
You attacked us.
What? And you like, I think you like notice like a dazed look. And he's like, oh, right. Let me out. Let me out this instant. Start struggling.
Shake him around.
And yeah, starts trying to like touch the tech pad, but like can't reach like one-handed. You know, you can't touch your own wrist. You start shaking him. Little constitution check, as we say. Let's see how he's faring with you.
Wait a minute.
He's got a concussion, so he definitely is not happy.
Concussion save.
Sure, we didn't do a medicine check on him.
Yeah, he's slightly impaired. So you shake him around a bunch. He's like, "Oh, stop it! Stop it! Hey, Glark, stop it! It's too much."
Glark?
Will you answer our questions now?
What are your questions?
I guess. Who are you?
Narrows his eyes. Stay silent. I'm
You're gonna shake him.
He rolls well again. Just I'm what you would call me like a fallen angel. Yeah, that's what you would call me. I'm from the heavens.
That's not much of a name.
Call me Glarkle.
All right, Glarkle. Why did you attack us?
Because you guys you're kind of like fruit. I can't tell you or they'll kill me.
Who's they?
I'm not telling you anything.
I'm shaking around.
Yeah, he rolls fairly well again.
Jesus, every time.
He's like, really not trying to tell you guys anything. So I think it's going to take quite a bit of shaking as you make your way.
Okay, then just like go around, just like as I'm running, use that like momentum to shake him.
Absolutely. So you're fucking doing this. But he's not making it easy for you guys in terms of like stealth or anything like that. So what do you want to do to traverse this this landscape? Quinn's kind of darting ahead, but she's not really trailblazing for anyone. Like she's nimble with rocket skates, basically. So she's like kind of zooming forward, and I would say that she's kind of like progressively getting a little bit further as you guys are kind of behind her. So I think a decision needs to be made in terms of like, are we all sprinting to the destination? Are we trying to be stealthy? Are we trying to avoid hazards? Like, what's the approach?
I mean, I feel like we should definitely avoid hazards. That's just going to get us injured.
Agreed.
Quinn, we don't know what's up ahead. You don't want to get hurt and slow us down further.
And she's like, not even looking back. She's just like, I have to get there now. And you see she like a shard of like metal like just like rips her arm and her suit as she like makes her way forward. So she is hurting herself a little bit.
Damn. Well, I'm gonna try and keep pace with her.
Yeah, Tomas, just watch out for her.
And I'll run through.
What's your
and
forehead look
climb
like when you say that?
Wait,
Last I saw it, it was crying.
it's back to like sleep mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, he just goes out and starts chasing him.
Right. Make me a speed roll. It's going to be a target number 15, and basically the two of you are running a little bit ahead. Will, Otto, what are you guys doing? Murgler is kind of just going at an even pace. He's like, every time he like falls, I think a little bit behind. He has his jump ability. It's like just do a big jump forward and kind of catch up, and then just like keep running.
I don't have all too much stats left, so I'm being careful. So I'm going to at the speed I can. That won't like I guess overexert me. That I can like keep a constant pace at, whatever that might happen to be, and not like injure myself on like the obstacles or whatever.
Okay. So do you want to make me a speed roll? But this one's going to be basically you're trying to keep up with them, or just go like not fall too far behind.
Yeah, I'm. If I can keep at least an eye out on them, like to know where they're going, but like as she's going like full tilt, I don't think I'm gonna be able to like keep up with her. So I just want to like make sure like I know the direction they're going and just not get left behind, but also not like kill myself getting to the destination.
Great, perfect. It'll be a demanding speed roll. Target number 9. Otto, you're doing the same.
Yeah, I'll be right with him.
Hmm.
Probably a little
So-
behind.
Okay.
For the
13.
speed roll, yeah, I got a 13 also.
Ooh.
But I do have climbing, running, and jumping as trained. So
Nice.
Okay, perfect. Wait, but you rolled an 11?
I rolled a 13.
A 13, perfect. So 13 makes it. So you're able to keep pace with Quinn. So Quinn, Tomas, the two of you are ahead. Otto, what did you roll?
8.
An 8 doesn't quite cut it. And for Wilm,
13.
a 13. So the 13 does cut it. So you're able to keep an eye on them, not too demanding, avoid the hazards. On the 8, unfortunately, that means that you are going to take some hazards. So you can take 4 points of either speed or might damage. I'll let you divide it as you go.
I don't
No.
fuck. Either way, I'm at 0. Let's do.
You could divvy it up between the two if you want.
That'd be good.
Have you used the action of healing yet?
I did.
just don't collapse as you're running after us.
Yeah, but I think like as you guys are running, it's like debris, rubble. Maybe you find a street, and then there's overturned vehicles. Maybe you find like some bodies at some point. It's like someone is like burned in a fire. The city is kind of eerily quiet. There's not many like even when the fights were going on between you guys and Glurkle and Mario, like there were no civilians around. There were no people. So even though it's kind of loud and there's like the sound of like the debris falling and the ground shaking every now and then, it's strangely eerie. And as you all make your way through, you see Fergulger just fucking face plant through a building at one point on one of his jumps, but he wasn't being careful. He rolled a 2. So he just takes a bunch of damage, unfortunately. You see he was like following back after you, just like a big bruise on his forehead. Quinn and Tomas make it first to the area, and you see this like big barren plain in front of you. And then you realize, Tomas, that this is a footprint.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
And as Quinn kind of like is running forward, you see outside of the footprint up on the other ledge, there's a figure kneeling down, head drooped, with what appears to be like a halo of light behind its head. And as you're getting closer, you see that the halo seems to be like spinning a little bit and like shining that light, but it like flickers. The rest of you, I'll say that as Tomas and Quinn get up to that figure, so basically make it to the other side of this footprint and then get out of, like climb the kind of like steep wall to get out of this footprint, the indentation that it's left. You're on the other side of this plane. You start to hear like growling sounds, and what looks like a group of those Spartans. They're like, I keep calling them Spartans, but I'm not really allowed to. What should we call them, gang?
Fallen angels?
I mean, that's what they are. They're a group of the fallen angels, but they're basically.
This is what Glurkle was telling us.
Yeah.
He is, so where they are.
And you see immediately Glurkle's just like, oh, those, hey! What do you guys do?
Shake him more. But while we were like making our way through the city, Have there been any viable means of transportation that we've passed that seem functional?
Uh,
Kind of like bike, scooter, vehicle, like whatever.
yeah, I'd say that there's definitely some things. Are you looking for something in particular?
Just something that can aid us potentially in getting like traveling a distance and not tiring us out.
I would say that seeing as you guys are progenitors, you're probably faster than your average bike or scooter, like a pedal bike or like a longboard or scooter or something. Like you're faster than that. If you see, like, I would say, like, you see like an electric bike or something, like a moped, maybe you could grab that.
Well, I mean, like, technically, all a bike or a scooter or like longboard would do would be to add wheels to our speed, which
Yeah.
should theoretically just increase our speed regardless.
It would if the roads were clear, which they're not.
Fair. Okay. So anything like some sort of vehicle that could cross more rugged terrain, I suppose, and not be like kind of bumped by too many hazards or blocked by too many hazards rather.
I'll say so. I roll a check, which and you find something. So something that can cross rugged terrain, that is not like some sort of like awesome vehicle that can like fly around. I'd say that maybe you find like, for some reason in my head it keeps saying pogo stick.
All-terrain
Absolutely
vehicles,
not.
pogo sticks.
Pogo stick, where you just jump over the debris. I don't think you find an all-terrain vehicle in the middle of the city that's able to go over all the rubble. Like,
I mean, like, we're not talking about like over like piles of rubble, but like around things, like because like we're not like climbing these piles of rubble either, right? We're going around them.
Quinn and Tomas are going right through. So if you want to keep an eye on them, then you would have had to go right through as well.
How do we go right through rubble? Like climb over them?
Yep,
like
they're climbing over, just like
delay us further than what's going around.
I mean, you see Quinn like run, jump, like like parkour, like roller skate on a wall, like act like somersault off the wall, like go on the other side. And meanwhile, Tomas is just like grab like a big bar, swing. There's like a wall in his way, so he just like and like keeps going.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Can we do like? I don't know the capabilities that Wilm has right now. Like, is that within Wilm's wheelhouse? Like, that's what I'm like unsure of.
You made a roll, and the roll was to not do that. It was to be more careful about it, and like if you see like a hazardous pile of rubble, to like go around it and then follow them that way.
But that's it. Like that's what I'm saying. So like if we're doing that and still keeping pace, like are there vehicles that can do like that?
And like I don't see something other than like an electric scooter, like I said. So it's like, yeah, you would be able to like navigate between like felled cars, like if there was like a bumpy section, like they went over a bunch of buildings, but you would have been able to like run through. You could basically, because you're a progenitor, just kind of like pick up the scooter and bring it over to the other side.
Okay,
so it's mobile enough / like
too useful.
No vehicle that's going to go over rubble easily.
Okay, but like even like a car, like a bike going around, like not a bike, like a motorcycle or something to like go around.
Because of the path through the buildings, if there are collapsed buildings or even like basically small side streets that Tomas and Quinn go through, and the car doesn't fit, you will lose sight of them when you have to go too far around.
Fair enough. Okay.
So
no, just check.
There would maybe be some cars available if you want to try and grab them, but then it's like you fully lose them and they're going to be at the field alone.
No, that's fair. So I just wanted to check to see if there was anything. But if there isn't, then there isn't. Cool.
I mean, there is. It's just it'll change the situation.
But like that's it. Like if it's like out of the way and we would lose sight, that defeats the purpose.
Okay. Do you grab an electric scooter? Is that something that you want?
I feel like we won't. It won't really be useful outside the city. So no.
Okay.
Because like I don't think any electric scooters like are compact or anything. Like I would have to like, literally carry around like a electric scooter.
Yeah.
They don't like they're not collapsible, so it wouldn't quite be very.
I'd say
Transport.
this is the golden age, so they're probably considerably lighter.
They're like little capsules.
It was an okay roll. So I'd say like you can find like a light one.
Okay, well in that, but I'm carrying fucking Glorkle as well, so then no, it wouldn't work.
You are carrying, like Glurkle's not that heavy. Like he's like this big, right?
I know,
It's
but
like,
it's taking up a hand. Like I'm saying, like I don't think I'd be able to like grab an electric scooter in one hand and have this in the other, and also be able to like run at a certain pace to be able to climb over shit.
yeah, you'd be riding the scooter for the most part, and then have to pick it up. I mean, like you can just put him on your belt if you want, or hang him from the handlebars.
It's just a lot of like logistics at that point. Where, it's okay.
Will, I can
I'll
hold
keep an
the
eye out
alien.
for better transportation, though. Like that'll just be a thing that I'm
Okay.
doing.
Okay. You keep an eye out for better transportation. You guys follow along. Otto, is there anything you want to look for while you guys are running?
Not really. I'm kind of interested in the alien, but now's not the time. If we feel like we're falling way behind, or like we're just making life really hard for us, I will suggest to Wilm that I could shift into a big spider and try and make it easier for us if he wants to ride me. But if we're just like, if we seem like we're okay, I don't want to exert that part of me for no reason.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You guys seem like you're fine to keep them in sight, and like follow up like up to this distance of like where this is. If it was like further, then maybe they would they would have started like pulling ahead or something like that. It would have been more important to spend some effort to try and keep up. But basically, by the time it's like you guys are starting to get a little bit winded, they're a little bit far ahead, is where this field, this barren field is, where the footprint is.
Okay. Well, and if you want to grab a vehicle, I could hold on to, not McGurgle. Glurgle. Glurgle. I can hold on to Glurgle.
So far, there hasn't been anything is worth grabbing. If there was some sort of all-terrain vehicle or, flying car potentially, but I don't know if we're there yet. Do they have those things in the Golden Age? I don't know. I was.
Was it in the paper?
I don't know. It wasn't in the paper. They might have gone to these heights of technology because it's like magic and technology currently. So I don't know.
Well, I shall keep an eye out for you as well.
Just so I'm not booking it
Otto,
all the time.
immediately you see like there's cars and stuff around. They're just all flipped over or like destroyed. I feel like if you guys tried to maybe put some stuff together, maybe you could get something working. So there is that thought, maybe since you're keeping your eyes open, well, of like, okay, there's a bunch of like broken stuff around, but what if we were able to put it together?
Yeah, like that'll be like a thought for like later, but like right now, like both Quinn and Tomas are like rushing forward, so like we don't want to lose sight of them. We don't want to like potentially like not be there to support them for whatever like they run into. So he's like kind of like storing that in the back of his mind. Like we can come back to this, but like let's just make sure that they're all right first.
Okay, so all these thoughts in mind, you arrive at the edge of the barren field. You see in the distance the figures of Tomas, Quinn, and a third like stooped, like kneeling figure on the floor as Quinn kind of like quickly bends down, light glinting off her space helmet, her space bubble. And Tomas, you next to her see that she starts like frantically kind of like shaking this person and trying to talk to them, and their eyes are like fluttering as they're like trying to come awake. But you, just like the group of your friends who are a little ways back, hear this growling, and you see this group of fallen angels in combat gear, none of them with wings, like the one that you just fought, but you see a group of 4 of them come out with what appear to be like melee and ranged weapons, basically like rifles with bayonets. I think the picture kind of sums it up, where it's got a sword coming out of one arm and the other one has a rifle with a big blade on it, Gears of War style. Basically, they all come out, and with them, you might recognize this as the picture from pre-stream, is this beauty.
Good lord.
All right, it's time to go.
And basically, they are, this magical beast is in chains going before them. And I mean, it's easy to see that this is like a dinosaur type, like a lizard, but this is it's basically, because of the magic, been transformed into something that's closer to a drake at this point. And so this magically chained, and you can see like every now and then as it strains against the bonds, there's like a magical rune that'll kind of like flare and then it'll like quiet down and then could keep trudging forward. And they seem to be coming right at you guys. And the lead of the fallen angels is just like, who are these 2? Wait,
Towards which group of 2?
They're looking at Tomas and Quinn. They're like, I would say, midway around the footprint, walking towards them. And they're not being quiet. This like dinosaur thing is like eyes focused on Tomas and Quinn. Otto, Wilm, Gorkle, or Golgor. None of you have been seen. Gorkle starts shouting. Mergolger just like clamps his hand over Gorkle's mouth and just like, fuck, he's gonna get us caught.
Gonna rip some like fabric off of like the coat that I was wearing, and just like stuff it in his mouth.
Roll me a speed roll.
I'll just not get bitten.
You caught me.
15.
You shove it all in the mouth. You don't get bit. You don't even get any saliva on your fingers. Garkle's fully stuffed up. Can't make much more noise. Golger's like, good thinking. Well, they seem fucked. Should we just go?
How far, like, okay, because like the distance in Cypher is different than D&D. So like, what would be the distance between our group and Quinn and Tomas, and then like our groups relative to this like third party?
So they are currently a short distance away from you. So that means they're out of immediate distance. And Tomas and Quinn are what I would call long distance from you.
Okay, and this other group is also a short distance from Quinn and Tomas?
Exactly, and they're walking towards them right now. And basically, they're talking to each other, but because there's like this big barren field, Mergolger's just like, oh, I can kind of, they're saying something. But Tomas and Quinn, you're right in front of them as they're like kind of sauntering forward, just like, oh, who are these 2? Wasn't Garkle supposed to be taking care of anything that came out of the lab?
I think I'll step forward, sort of between the group and Quinn and the fallen fellow on the ground there. And I think like his little face just kind of flips between like purple and red, like almost like a slot machine, and then ding, and it lands on red, and he's like, he starts growling, and the little face is like frothing at the mouth, going like, freaking out. And he's just trying to be a little intimidating.
All right, how intimidating are you? Trying to intimidate all of them as a group, or just the beast? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
I think it's just the group in general. What kind of
Gotta
role
roll
is
me,
that?
either an intellect if you're trying to do like some sort of like a performance, or I would allow you to do might potentially just to appear strong.
Okay, yeah, I'll just do. It'll be might, sort of like standing tall, kind of like muscles are flexing. You know, there's some like veins popping on his neck and stuff.
Hell yeah.
No, you let the deal. Fell on the floor, but it's an 11.
An 11. Okay. I'm gonna roll something on my end. So they kind of like seem to like look at each other, and you notice that they still have casual kind of like poses. And the one in the league puts their rifle up and it's just like, "Oh, big beast boy wants to play, huh? Get him!" And just like releases the chain leash, which like snaps to and sticks to the scales of the dinosaur, and it lunges forward to fight you. So I'll have the two of you maybe roll initiative just to see what's going on first, and then so we'll play that out real quick, as they kind of like jeer at you from the sidelines. But that'll leave Otto and Will to kind of act afterward.
I got a 9.
You got a 10. And I think as you bound towards each other, kind of like almost at the same speed, it just gets its claw out first. You can make me a might or a speed defense roll, please.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do a speed defense, and I will use an effort. Ooh, that's a 5. I am also trained in speed defense.
So you're trained. A 5 does not quite cut it because it brings it down to a target number 6. And I think as it, maybe like you bring your arm up hoping to stop the claw, and it like you notice it has an opposable thumb, so it just like
yeah.
stabs into your arm. So you are going to take 4 damage from its claws.
Okay.
4 might damage, and you do find out that it is a difficulty 4. That being said, as you're kind of like grappling with this thing right now, what do you do back?
So I was hoping to dodge it while using the momentum to kind of like, but it's got like little T-Rex arms, right? Is that what I'm seeing, or is it on its like 4 legs?
It's on 3 with 1 lifted up, so they're
Okay.
all
Okay, but it's big enough that it can actually like use its front legs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So as it like reaches out, he gets kind of clawed, but he still sort of like tries to flip up onto the arm and like begin to scamper his way up on top of the creature.
Ooh. Okay. I will.
4 damage.
It's grabbing you right now, so like you're already kind of like in a grapple kind of deal.
Okay.
So you're kind of just changing position. Okay. Great. You want to make me a speed roll?
Sure. I'm also going to activate my emotional frenzy.
Okay.
So that's an enabler, so I can just activate it during combat. It costs 1 intellect point. And speed, yeah. So as I try to like scamper on top of it, I guess like wiggle out of its grasp. I am trained in animal riding. So I will use that to give myself a, I don't know, +1 or whatever it's called. Asset. There you go.
Absolutely.
And I'll use an edge. Effort.
Okay.
God damn it, another freaking 5, man.
You get a 5, and you feel a boost as like your leg slips a little bit, and the drill hound just comes in and shoulder nudges
my
you,
boy.
and gives you an asset at the last second. But one of the soldiers is like, "Oh, come on, that's not fair. 2 on 1." You hear another one. God, they're like a duo. He's like a beast rider. and you get up on top of this creature. You will take 2 damage though, because of its scales, and basically it's like this like really like spiky, rough exterior that's like meant for like for it to basically be as spiny and not rideable as possible.
Okay, yeah, shoot. All right. 2 damage. Oh, it's not looking good.
You do, however, have the full attention of these 4 soldiers and this creature. The drill hound like barking as you're like riding it for a second now. Spine's kind of scale sticking into you, or you have like I don't know, probably like paper cuts or something from like climbing around it.
Yeah, all
The scales.
slid up. Yeah.
So Otto, Wilm, McGolger are back here. What are you guys doing? Gorkle is
Well, I cannot engage in violent confrontation at the moment. Would be unwise for my life. I can stay here.
I feel similar. Can do a quick, because again, I don't think any vehicle would be able to like skirt around. If we got a vehicle working, would there be a vehicle that could go around and reach them in like a round, or we'd have to take like multiple rounds to get there?
maybe.
Because like if they're a short distance from us, and then they were also a short distance from Quinn and Tomas, and they got to Quinn and Tomas in a round. Would that be like 2 rounds to get there?
Pre-combat, they were talking and walking, and then walked right up to them, and then Tomas tried to intimidate them. So not quite initiative D&D style, right? Like there was they walked up. So if you guys want to, in the meantime, be sneaking around, doing something, like this is kind of the time to do it, to get closer.
Because I was thinking like getting a vehicle operational so we can like swing around, grab them, and then like race off.
Yeah, I think you could try it. The one thing is that if the vehicles are broken, you'd have to fix them. And
that's it. Like I wanted to see like if there was anything of like a usable there that wouldn't require like a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, the other thing is I think it might be tough to find a car that has its keys in it. So a scooter is like maybe more likely, like if someone was riding a scooter and then had to ditch the scooter, that like it would just be left. But in a lot of cases, if it was a parked car or something like that, I don't know that the keys would just be in it.
Well, like hot wire it, but yeah.
Or you could try to hotwire it, but then maybe that would take a little bit of time too, right? So I think you have decisions to make here. Quinn, I think in the meantime, is just like trying desperately to like wake this person up.
Because that's it.
You
Like
just can't see what's happening with that from where you are.
They don't seem to be too concerned about these 4 soldiers and like giant lizard that are like attacking. Like, but it's clearly a threat. So I want to try and find a way to save them and not endanger ourselves in the same process. Can I move anyone with my whatchamacallit? My far step?
Good question. I think right now it would require a cost to even attempt it, and I would still make you roll. And if the roll failed, you would hurt the person you're transporting.
Okay. Because right now that's what I'm thinking. Will, how strong can you make your webbing?
Golger looks at you. Aren't you Will?
I wasn't going to say anything. I understood.
Also, I'm flustered right now, all right? They're clearly in danger. We need to do something.
We've been calling each other numbers for a long time. I understand.
You need to get used to my name. And yours, Otto.
Yes, Will. I, as a player, do not remember anything of what we talked about with the webbing.
What's the tensile
I
strength?
know I could create clothes if I eat them, but I don't know that was connected to my webbing. I don't think it was, but that's the only thing I can remember.
Because like apparently it can
if I wanted
hold your weight.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember like the limitations, like how much webbing I have and what's the
Oh my god, we
how
came
it
up with a whole
works
bunch of rules around it, didn't we?
uh,
You didn't write them down, dude?
I did.
I want to know if you can yank them away with your webbing.
Yeah,
He's
we
straight
had a
up
it
whole.
took-
man.
There was
it
a whole
took
thing.
might.
It took
Like,
might,
it
and
was
there was
like-
an amount of might that you had to spend per amount of distance of web. This ringing any
God.
bells? Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I don't remember how strong it was.
Well, right now I have like no
Yeah.
might, so I'm not. It's
Okay,
I
let's
actually
move
won't
it.
use it.
What if
so,
it works like a grapple, just but within short range, or something? You know, like I don't know how a grapple would work in this, other than like just a might check. But like instead of having to be within immediate range, you could be within short range or something. And maybe it
That's pretty
costs like
far.
one might
It would
or
be
something.
more immediate range or traps.
Hmm.
It would be like a grapple that is a trap somewhere.
Yeah, with like a trigger.
Yeah, basically it's like an attack that you can place down on the map, and then somebody can walk into it.
but for now, I'll just say my access to my webbing is connected to my vitality, which is extremely low at the moment. However, I do have other options at hand. If you could give me glurk, I could try a more diplomatic approach, and we may make our way to them under a certain guise or ruse.
Sure. Would it be worth it to ask him how we can get them to stand down?
He seems to only be wanting to call them over here, but I have ways of accessing the information contained within that small brain of his.
I'll pass him over.
I think I'll look at Gul, and then I'll take a bite. Not cautiously. I'll just, as if it's completely normal to suck the blood of an alien.
Do you take a bite out of him, or just do you take a bite and then suck some blood?
I guess it depends how good he tastes. It'll be a bite first, not out, just of.
A taste.
I rolled for taste and I rolled 7, so you can dirty, bit sweaty, so that maybe kind of salty, might be kind of good actually. The blood's definitely really bitter. Blue.
No, I'll just get my little fill, just as much as I need until I feel that little snap of like, got it. And then
You
I'll
do this,
release.
and you just hear it's like freaking out. You think you're eating him, and then just like kind of passes out from like I'm gonna make you roll. It's just like lack of oxygen, basically. Like can't breathe properly with all this stuff stuffed in his mouth at the same time. Goes limp, stops screaming. Magolgar's like, oh, remember that technique. And you gain access to some shapeshifting and some memories. You have to pick something specific, right? When you ingest this blood. So what are you picking?
And then I think oh wow, I really didn't write. I was so into the moment of your story, Brent. I didn't escape it for long enough to write notes about how things work. Do I have to choose physical, like either physical or mental, or is it I choose like? Because I think when I took her blood, I just took enough to change into her to look like her, and then I chose one aspect. I think it was like I take the look, and then I take maybe 2 descriptors.
We
It was
wrote
something
this down. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
finding it. This wasn't during. I didn't come up with all this stuff during this. I wish I could be that good. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Make a plan while I look for this. Meanwhile, Tomas is like dinosaur riding, and I think one of the soldiers like breaks down, like thigh slapping, laughing, as Quinn is like desperately trying to like help this person in front of her. Tomas, you catch that the person's eyes like flutter, and the blinking halo seems to like be steady now. So it seems like whatever amount of time you're buying here is like kind of working. They seem to be waking up. But you are going to take 2 more, either divided between speed and might as you will, damage.
Should we just get closer at this point and at least be there to back them up? I mean, you don't have to get into combat, but
I suppose perhaps we can leave this one here.
didn't you want to use him for some sort of
Oh yes, I've
negotiation?
used him already. But if I'm holding him, it might give away whatever plan we
McGurgler, would you mind taking Gurkle for a bit?
Gurk.
Yeah, Gherkin's
Are
fine.
you 2 related?
And he like takes a bite of him.
I hope not.
Oh, that tastes like garbage,
Yes.
like trash.
Bitter.
I found the passage we talked about. So we've homebrewed that when you ingest part of their body, you get 3 tags for that shape change. The first tag is always their identity, which is their
Write it
form,
down.
and the other 2 are traits. And so you can pick what those 2 tags are.
Very good. 2 traits. Okay. So I will take kind of I don't know the best way to put it, like diplomatic knowledge, like decorum, like how to be in this race, or
Like
as he lives, as he
etiquette
exists.
almost, like
Yeah,
cultural etiquette.
cultural etiquette.
I would say that's a specialization. So to get not just etiquette, but like normal behavior out of this person's or Gherkin's, the newly called Gherkin's memories, you would take memories, and then you would
Okay.
take behaviors.
Okay, one step
Okay.
further, kind of. Okay.
So
Yeah,
look,
exactly.
the memories,
Then
and
I would suggest something, but I'm not there.
When you're there, it's too late as he
Yeah.
turns into.
Can I just be rambling about what would be good information to have?
Yeah, if I have access to memories, and at least I could maybe see if I know people and stuff.
What sent them here, and why they're here, why they're after us, and
Okay, yeah, if you say that.
who sent them.
Hide
Like,
then. Should I hide with this guy or should I like fight with
well,
him?
these are all the questions that I was trying to ask Gurkle like at the beginning, and that he wouldn't answer. Right?
Mhm. Okay. Then I'll say like specifically maybe mission knowledge. So I got a PhD in memories with a specialization in mission knowledge.
Mission knowledge. Ooh.
And we'll see
Okay.
if he has no mission, then it's a waste.
The DNA hits you, and this has never happened before, but it burns. And immediately, I think there's a realization that comes to you, which is you were programmed, you were experimented on with, yes, magic, but it was magical enhancements of basically terrestrial DNA, terrestrial genetics. These genetics are not from here. They are from somewhere else that you have no idea, that none of the scientists had any idea. And so as this hits you, there's some sort of an adaptation that immediately will have to take place. It is sudden and violent. And I think you, Tomas, see as like Otto's just like kind of like figuring out how the magic, how he's going to shape it, all of a sudden like just grabs his head. And you're going to make me an intellect roll. This is going to be a formidable roll. That's a target number 21.
Oh God.
Good luck.
If you have any assets,
I
any
don't-
effort, anything, any abilities, anything that you want to apply to this, I say go for it now. Otherwise, this will hurt.
You're a shapeshifter by
Ooh.
origins. Like, isn't this like what your body does? Adapt. To
Okay.
whatever-
Do I feel like I can like push this back for a second and like concentrate on something, or it's like it's just happening?
What's the thing you want to try to concentrate on?
I want to use the action called observation. I observe or study an object. My next interaction with the creature or object gains 1 action. So if I'm like looking at him, do I feel like that would help?
If you had done this before you bit him,
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I think this was like you're like, oh, we need to do this right now. You got the blood, and then you're like, ah, shit.
Definitely.
Didn't think what alien blood would do.
Okay. No, nothing. Nothing. No physical traits that would assist me.
Right.
If I can, I'm trained in finding out something new. If there's a like a mental aspect of like taking what's happening and like compartmentalizing and sifting through things, and maybe, but other than that, I got nothing. I don't even
Sorry.
wanna use-
What's that asset? It's like a mental sifting through things.
It's just anytime I'm finding out something new, I'm trained to find out new things.
Oh, for like new experiences. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is new. This is definitely new. All right, on a 19, on an 18, 19, or 20, you get it.
Fucking hell. Hold on, I gotta dump all these out.
An effort maybe to lower it even more.
No, I'm so low, and yeah, I got a 3.
A 3. I will award you an XP right now if you let me GM intrude.
Give it to me. I'll take it.
Give it to you.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Right, you take an
Guilty.
XP. Otto, you recede into your new form, and I think like a spider on the wall. You gaze at all of the inside of this being. You start to become accustomed to this DNA, and something has changed in you where you feel an adaptability start to form, some sort of resistance to, but maybe not resistance, but an openness, and a resistance to like any sort of like bad effects, negative effects. But this detached state that you're in, you find it all of a sudden that you're stuttering. There's a wall between you and control of this state. And unfortunately, the being that you've just become, Gorkle, snaps back to consciousness with your body.
Shit.
And so as you transform Glurkle, comes to. Wilm, you won't really realize what this is, I think, at first, because it is, you just saw Otto do this. And you see Otto that is Glurkle, or Glurkle that is Otto that is Glurkle, jump up to the real Glurkle and type something into the D-pad really quickly. And the whole thing, the booster just kind of like start going off inside of the chain whip, and it just starts spiraling like crazy out into the barren field. And you hear Glurkle in Otto's body just yelling, "Help!" As Mergulger is just like blindsided and just goes, "What the fuck is happening?" And it kind of like races out into the field.
We're fucked.
The soldiers whip their attention, and the one who casts the chain over to you, Tomas, flings his hand out, and you see that chain like slip into his hand as he turns his full attention and just like reins, whips this dinosaur around, and it starts charging towards this new sound that's coming towards them. You still on its back. The kneeling figure takes this opportunity to open their eyes all of a sudden, stumble to one knee, reach out a hand, and you see a glowing circle. And then it just extends forward, concentrating its power, and vaporizes one of the soldiers. They turn to instant dust, with smoke. None of the other three notice because he aimed at the one in the back, and it's just gone without a sound. And with that, we're going to take a little break.
Yay.
And when we come back from the break, we'll face the chaos that unfolds. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.